micro level context. Last time, if you remember, we talked about the macro level context of a translation. As you know, dear students, at the macro level context in translation activity can be broken down into linguistic context and physical or psychological context. The linguistic context here, the linguistic context, right? The linguistic context here, as you know, dear students, usually plays a key role in determining what a word means independently of a physical and or let's say uh, um, psychological context. One should note that we have the so-called hemonymy, right? Hemonymy, as you know, is a type of uh, it's a type of a semantic actually uh, connotation, right? A type of semantic connotation, which means actually a kind of semantically unrelated multiple senses or meaning levels of the word. And also we have the so-called, and here in hemonymy, we talk about semantically unrelated, right? Unrelated senses of the word, while pol- polysemy, right? It refers to which is another actually, which is another level of the semantics or the word relationships here when we talk about semantically, right? Semantically related, semantically related senses of of the word. All of these, dear students, are all pervasive phenomena in both English and Arabic, and they can be mainly worked out in intralingual and interlingual communication in terms of the co-text. When we talk about, dear students, lingual, we talk about a change or a variety within one language. And when we talk about interlingual, we talk about a variety or variation among languages. To give a kind of examples of homonymy, we have, for example, the lexeme or the form, for example, bank, right? So here the word bank, right? Uh, the word bank here as an example or as a kind of concrete example of the notion homonymy. We have, for example, in an example like John deposited, right? John, his savings, in the bank yesterday, right? So here, this example, as you know, okay. So we have John deposited his savings yesterday, okay, uh, which has or which can be translated as uh, أودع, right? أودع جون مدخراته, right? مدخراته في البنك أمس, right? أودع جون مدخراته في البنك أمس, right? So at another level, dear students, when we have a kind of example like like the children, for example, the children played, the children played on the bank of the river, right? Of the river. Okay, yesterday, of course, it can be translated as a kind of لعب الأطفال, right? لعب الأطفال على ضفة النهر أمس، أو في الأمس لعب الأطفال على ضفة النهر, right? So here, as you see, dear students, the two different patterns or levels of translation are shown as in these two examples. So here, uh, the second example can be interpreted as based on the surrounding words, on the surrounding words, like the river, the word bank can be interpreted only as a financial institution, while it can be understood solely as referring to an area of ground alongside a river within the surrounding words. So, in the first example, John deposited his savings in the bank. We have the word savings, we have deposited as a kind of strong clues to give the meaning as in the context. On the second examples, where we have لعب الأطفال على ضفة النهر, we have the children, we have played, and we have the river as a kind of determining actually lexical forms that have linguistic clues for the meaning of of these two words in the two different contexts. So here, or however, when when the homonymous bank, this word above, tolerates ambiguity in an utterance, such as I will wait for you by the bank. This the presumed problem here is readily resolved by consulting the immediate or distant physical context, i.e., whether there exists a kind of financial institution or a river in the relevant physical surrounding in the outside world. So, as we know, dear students, or as we should bear in mind, that the word bank can also be productively polysemous. At the other hand, when we talk about polysemous, we talk about semantically related senses of the word by extending the primary sense of linking the depositing money to storing any X material for future. So here we talk about, for example, we talk about, for example, data data bank, which is bank المعلومات أو البيانات. Data, let's say a data bank, blood, maybe blood bank, which is bank at them, right? Bank at them here. So here, all these senses take actually as in a data bank, or maybe we have, for example, we have test bank, right? Test bank, which is bank الأسئلة, right? Which is bank الأسئلة. So here, according to the data here at hand, we can say that the existence of, for example, test bank, kidney bank, blood bank, and so on and so forth, they already exist, right? So we have all these multiple senses. Take the primary or the main sense or the meaning of bank, so on whether it is financial, non-financial, depending upon the context itself. So they have a kind of a context determining the meaning according to their occurrence. So here, another problem that can maybe that can take place in terms of word ambiguity, right? Word ambiguity, which is resolved by taking the context or context into consideration. So one may constitute a problem for students, but not practicing translators. So word ambiguity actually can be actually um, solved out by practicing or professional translators. Student translators in general, when they are trained, they should be alert, right? And they should be alerted by their trainers to the fact that the words between English and Arabic have multiple senses or sense levels, whose relevance to the in a particular text is overwhelmingly determined by their linguistic and or physical and psychological context. So to observe actually, to know and to be aware of these how the notion ambiguity can be problematic to college student translators, witness or uh, should pay attention to the rendition of those words. Much lies, as example, much lies behind those words. Much lies. Let me just here put it. Mhm. Much much lies behind these words, right? Much lies behind these words, as can be translated as هناك أكاذيب, right? أكاذيب كثيرة. هناك أكاذيب كثيرة خلف هذه الكلمات, right? هناك أكاذيب كثيرة خلف هذه الكلمات. Okay. هناك أكاذيب كثيرة خلف هذه الكلمات. And other examples like when we say, for example, bushfires, bushfires ranging around the Australian, hmm, about the Australian capital, Canberra, which is the capital of Australia, have killed three people, and destroyed hundreds of suburban homes. Right. So here, dear students, uh, as we said, and we can notice that the word ambiguity, how the word ambiguity can be problematic, as we said, to college students or student translators, when we have these two examples, as in uh, uh, for example, when we talk about حرائق وقعت الحرائق التي وقعت في العاصمة الأسترالية كامبيرا، والتي راح ضحيتها 3000 شخص، ودمرت فيها مئات المنازل الواقعة بضواحيها. So here we should notice that the fatal mistakes committed by the student translators in these two examples are caused by their insensitivity to word ambiguity, namely the ambiguity of the lexemes lie, as in bush. So here, uh, uh, bush fires, uh, uh, and bush, for example, lies, and so on and so forth. So here, the word bush, um, refers to a kind of natural phenomenon which undergoes a kind of burning, fires, and so on and so forth. But when we talk about George Bush, for example, when we talk about Bush lies, right? So here, we have lies here, and we have Bush here, and you have to be careful that sometimes these two words can be misleading, and a great deal of ambiguity lies in such contexts like these. So here, as you know, dear students, we have to be careful in determining the ambiguity, or knowing and being familiar with the ambiguity of such words in different contexts. يعني we can have a look uh, at different contexts where we have to be careful in terms of the different translation patterns. Okay.